Now, we spoke on Monday about the Environment Minister using Indigenous heritage laws to ban a $1 billion gold mine project in New South Wales. And now we learned that Tanya Plibersek is refusing to release the advice that led to that ban, which did take the resource industry by surprise. Tanya Plibersek made the decision despite local Aboriginal land councils saying there were no unmanageable concerns about the proposed site. Dan, the Environment Minister is defending this decision. We know it's going to cost 800 jobs. It's going to cost New South Wales around $200 million in royalties and taxes. Surely we need a little bit more transparency here.
Well, there's a pattern of repeated behaviour. We've seen this with the whole nature positive laws, which is the big new green bureaucracy that this government wants to bring in. We put in a Freedom of Information request a couple of months ago to the department, and they said there was something like 220,000 documents relating to the nature positive laws, but they weren't going to release them into public. So there's a pattern here of having closed workshop meetings with stakeholders where you have to sign confidentiality or non-disclosure agreements in order to view legislation. We've also seen that with religious freedom laws and others.
What's the point of going through that process if you can't actually then speak about what you've seen?
Well, because the government just wants to say they've consulted. They don't want people to be heard and they don't want people to speak out. So, something else is going on here. But, this is only going to be the beginning of what we see in terms of this anti-development agenda from this government.
And you've got people within the Indigenous community saying these Aboriginal heritage laws are being misused. They're being corrupted, hijacked, whatever way you want to describe it. And again, that's not only divisive, but they're using that in a cynical manner to hold back this development at a time where we need investment, we need jobs, we need more taxes and royalties to go to our state governments.
Well, exactly. And depending on the location of a project, it can often be Indigenous people that are some of the main beneficiaries of these projects, whether it is through like the royalty distribution, as you mentioned, or through employment opportunities, which is exactly what people on the ground need. This also has, I think, the vibes of the Western Australian cultural heritage laws in sort of using claim tangible or intangible Indigenous cultural heritage as a mechanism to stop development and to stop investment. So I think that this may be a sign of what is to come.
Now, it must be a day ending in Y, because the Guardian is published another hysterical piece of nonsense. I mean, it happens daily. I don't know why we even highlight it anymore. This time, they're pushing the theory that Elon Musk could plan an insurrection if Donald Trump loses the presidential election. Let me read this extract to you. Britain's 2024 summer riots were Elon Musk's trial balloon. He got away with it. And if you're not terrified by both the extraordinary supranational power of that and the potential consequences, you should be. Are you terrified, Dan?
Well, what I'm terrified is the censorial nature of the left. I mean, in the UK, they are putting people in jail for putting memes and opinion on social media. I don't think the Guardian has spoken out against that at all.
No, of course not. They support it.
They support it because they fundamentally, as it currently stands, democracy is only working for one side. If you speak out as a mainstream citizen in the Western world, you will be brutally shut down or cancelled or put in jail. That is where we are. Twitter is perhaps one of the only forums that is left on the internet where people can have almost unfettered speech. Of course, with unfettered speech, people will say all kinds of, horrible things that should be regulated by the platform in some way. But in terms of actually going on there and putting your opinion, you can't do it on Facebook. You mentioned the nuclear posts are banned on or censored on Facebook. So this is one of the last avenues for free speech in the Western world, and the left is mercilessly trying to shut it down.
That's it. It's just like if they have a conservative program or columnist, even if 95% of the media leans the other way, they want to shut down that last remaining contrary opinion. Dan Wild, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.